All right, guys, I am bringing up one of my most favorite people, the lady who has given so many other ladies in comedy, variety, burlesque, an opportunity to be able to perform at amazing places like My Bar. Also, let's give a huge round of applause to fucking My Bar, guys. Yes. I'm so happy to just be in this building and have the essence of My Bar on me. That being said, I want to give a big round of applause for the beautiful, the funny, my dear friend, Justine Smith.
I'm in gloves.
Oh, fuck yeah! I already have. I'm covered in PPE.
Yeah. Not the good kind either.
Oh, I'm not supposed to do that.
Nikki.
I have a routine.
Just pretend like you like me, for fuck's sake. All right. I'm kidding. She's one of my favorite people. Why? Here's the thing. I have people in my life that I love so dearly, and I have no idea why they tolerate me. Like, every day I'm like, thank you for not turning me in, or, you know, whatever you think should happen in my world. So now I'm at the level of COVID where I pierced my nose for the 6th time because it might heal properly now. Like, that's, I'm like, surely now, when I'm not doing anything else but watching Schitt's Creek and putting on fake dicks. I'll tell you what, people love that show. If it didn't have Daniel Levy in it, would not be a good show. Am I right? I mean, honestly, everybody else is fine, and I'm a huge Catherine O'Hara fan and Eugene Levy and those eyebrows, and I've heard that the size of your eyebrows are akin to the size of your what? And I'm like, that man. Hello. And he's like 76 years old. I'd fuck him. I wouldn't even hesitate. Yep. Do you like what I'm presenting you, Eugene Levy? Old man? Old man! All right. Eeks. So yeah, I've also been doing really an obscene amount of social media because I hired a promotional rescue person who basically helps you get your brand, right? Like, this is how you brand yourself if you want to do shows, if you want to do all this shit. I'm sorry, am I interrupting you? Yep, she's like, darn right you are. Good stuff, or? Okay, wonderful. So she's like, you gotta go on all the things. And I'm like, oh, I hate Twitter. It's just all politics and bullshit. And I'm like, and no one ever likes my shit. Like, no one's seeing my shit. She goes, they are. She goes, here's why you have to go on Twitter, comics. Listen to this. We talked about this. You have to go on Twitter so you timestamp your jokes. Which clearly something over there is way funnier. What's happening? No, I want to know. Like, fucking let us in if you're gonna interrupt the goddamn show. No. So anyway.
Social media over here.
Oh, for fucking Christ's sake. So, it's fine. You'll all be edited out of my masterpiece video, you piece of shit. So Yasir and Katie, they told me you need to go on Twitter so you can timestamp your jokes, because in the comedy world, people steal your shit. There's a comic I used to put on my show who just stole other people's jokes, and everyone's like, he's so funny, and I'm like, he's a hack. Those aren't his jokes. So they timestamp your jokes, right? So I'm on Twitter, and let me tell you right now, Twitter feels like if you're a child that was really not allowed to do anything when you lived at home, and then you went off to college, and you were like, I'm gonna fuck that, and I'm gonna say this, and it's like, I'm like a drunk person on Twitter because I feel like I can say whatever I want to say. It's very different than Facebook. Like, what I post on Twitter would get me blocked on Facebook, right? Like, it's so freeing. I came all over my keyboard. I was like, yeah, take that, Candace Owens. So, oh, fuck that bitch. Here's the thing. I'm not even a huge Harry Styles fan. Watermelon Sugar. I don't know why. It's not a great song. Every time it comes on, I'm like, they got the song! And I pull over on the side of the road, so Watermelon Sugar, and he's fine, whatever. But he was on the cover of Vanity Fair, Vogue, or whatever it was, in a dress. He looked amazing. He looked beautiful. Sexuality is fluid. Get the fuck over it and go suck a dick in the South if you can't handle it. Seriously. is we need to bring back manly men. They're the trans agenda. I was like, how do I get in on that? I want in on the trans agenda. That sounds amazing. I love my trans friends, and I will choose my trans friends over family because fuck you and your homophobia. So, that was a soapbox. I don't even know where that came from. It just makes me so mad. And so I posted, and she's like, I need manly men, and they're taking away men, and I'm like, please, by all means. I'm bisexual. Every man I know is on thin ice, and like I can only take so much of those. And so I pulled like some old picture of Google. Google is your friend. I pulled this old picture off of Google of these old 70s men. Like they couldn't be more like fancy man, right? And that's what they wore in the 70s. And I was like, is this what you meant, Candace Owens? And then I hit tweet, and then I was like, that bitch. And she was wearing a pantsuit when she said it. Cunt! You weren't even allowed to wear that until women fought for your right to wear pantsuits. Bring back feminine ladies. Although I do like the feminine ladies. I'm not gonna lie, as a bisexual woman, it's so funny. When I came out, I don't know, it's not really a coming out. It was just like, yeah, I eat pussy, you know. But when it came out, I had friends that I've known for years, and they're like, oh, you're not going to try and sleep with me now, are you? And I was like, you're not my type. Now, here's the thing. Every one of them was like, oh, clutch your pearls, gasp, what? They're not gay, they're not even bisexual. They were just offended that I didn't want to eat them out. Sorry, you're not my type. You want to know who my type is? Emma. Emma is my type. Yeah. Lizzo is my type. Take my breath away, literally. So anyway, I'm on Twitter because I got blocked on Facebook. Oh, shocking. Well, and I'm already on thin ice with Facebook. They don't like me. I've been warned plenty of times, and I'll tell you about that. But I guess she's not my friend anymore, but I got blocked because this gal that I know was like angry, right? All caps. That's how you know shit's going down. All caps. This country was built on Christianity. Okay. And I was like, and in my head I was like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do that, don't do that, mentor. And I was like, oh, if you mean Christianity as in slavery, genocide, and rape, then I'm not going to argue with you. She did not like that. She did not appreciate that I had to say that. And here was her response. You're an idiot. And my response was, you're right. I'm absolutely not disagreeing with you. Do you know, here's proof. Every day I get the universe or Sky Daddy or whoever is like, here's why you're a moron. So I went into Walmart this morning, and I had to scroll, oh, I hate that place. But sometimes they have the things. Where do you get fur like that? I had to go to Walmart. And here's what I said to the Walmart man as I laid out my pelt. I said, I need half a foot of that. Think about it. And he looks at me and he goes, you mean 6 inches? And I was like, oh no, that's not right. Maybe a foot. I had forgotten that a foot was not a yard and that a foot was only 12 inches. Yes. I'm an idiot. Here's the difference, though, between you and I, sweet baby, is I was presented with facts and actual information, and I then changed my answer. I mean, hold on to it if you need to. And then it was weird because then I didn't see her in my feed anymore, and I was like, well, that was the end of that. Oh well. So, here's the thing. Christianity, perfect. If it makes you happy, good. Everybody deserves to be happy, right? Everybody deserves to be happy. You do. What you don't deserve to do is tell me that I can't be happy unless I'm happy like you're happy. Not everybody's happy is the same way. Now, I love my Christian friends, and I don't like some of my Christian family. It's fine, we'll cut that out. It's true though, Jesus on the cross. So, I was raised Catholic, and I am mostly recovered. I still struggle with the guilt and shame. That is my family crest. Being from the Midwest, that's just, how we roll. And and I'm not trying to hurt anybody here. Please know that I honor where you're at. I really fucking do. I don't worship the ground if you want to. I don't care. Is anybody really I'm so grateful for my Christianity, and it really adds to my perfect. Good. That's perfect. That's exactly how it should be. Now, if you come after me afterward and are like, if you accept Jesus Christ as your Savior, you'd be a lot happier. Bitch, I couldn't be happier. I'm not kidding you. Look at me. I'm in a gay bar in a frog costume. Or Green Man. Does anyone know Green Man?
Yeah!
Wild card, bitch! Alright. So no, I'm good. And here's why I struggle sometimes with Christianity. Do you? But you guys can't even figure out the right way to worship Jesus, right? There's Catholic, and there's Lutheran, and there's Baptist, and there's Episcopalian, and the Reptilian Party, and I can't keep it all straight, and I don't have to. That's fine. But here's the thing. I was raised very Catholic. My grandma was like, you are going to, I'm sorry, honey, you're just going to go to hell because you're a woman. And you've clearly been touching yourself, and that's just, right down the shitter. Now, my stepmother hates me. I'm the worst person. So now you all know, right? But she's Baptist. Hates my guts. I am the worst. And so, I gotta tell you the story. So my dad's side of the family, why are you like this? My dad's side of the family is Baptist, my mother's side of the family is Catholic, and my stepfather was a fucking Jehovah's Witness. I have literally spontaneously combusted 4 times. Wow. And so, here's the greatest thing. So there was a time where religion was a really big part of my life, and I went to a church in Georgia, and it's still, I feel like it's my spiritual home. They were wonderful. And it was called Unity, and it's different than the one here. It was really metaphysical, and they were like, Jesus fucking rad. This is what Jesus said, and it's really fucking cool. Oh, and Muhammad said this, and this was tits, right? Oh, and look at what Buddha said, and all the Jews, and everybody was just welcome and happy, and we took all of these beautiful teachings from all of these people, and what felt good stuck, and what didn't, you just let go, and it was wonderful, and I loved this church so much, and again, I was so naive. I'm so naive in so many ways, and so not in others. But, so I thought, like a moron, my dad and my stepmother would finally be proud of me. I was going to church. I had religion in my life. I was no longer going to hell. And the Unity Church is like, there's no hell. If there's a hell, you're creating it right now. And I know people that live there on this planet right now. And it's brutal, right? And maybe there is a hell. I don't fucking know. I know I don't want to be there with my stepmother. In heaven, if that's where she is, then I'll take Satan in all of his glory, I guess. So I reach out to my dad and my stepmom, and I'm like, this was so great, and we're learning this and we're learning that, and I got to see the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama came to our church, right? Yeah, I mean, oh my God, so many hard nipples. And so, fucking motherfucking Dalai Lama, right? And so I messaged my dad, and I got a handwritten letter from my grandfather. Oh. Yup. So, I'm not going to break down the whole thing, but the end of it was, if the Dalai Lama doesn't accept Jesus Christ in his heart, he's going to hell. I tried! I didn't talk to Grace, he's dead now, it doesn't matter. And so sometimes I think think like he's dead, he's passed on, he's in another, he's in another dimension, he's probably looking down and still feels shame. But it's also like, oh, I'm sorry I was such a piece of shit to you. Maybe not. Anyway. And so people are like, well, what are you then? And I'm like, a human? I don't, what? And I'm a person, and that sucks enough, for God's sakes. We are awful, awful creatures. Worst. The other day I was driving, and it's almost like, and I know that you know what I'm talking about, it's almost like the stoplights and the stop signs are like optional now. Like people are like, oh, you make me fucking have to wear a mask, I'm not paying attention to this red light, like I just want to kill somebody, basically. It boils down to, it's so weird. And so people are like, what are you? Like, what would you go? I'm like, well, I really like Buddha, right? Like I got like 18 Buddhas in my house, because it brings my peace. And I really love like the Wiccan stuff, right? With the crystals, my daughter's really into it, and we do our little kind spells, make me hex, No, you don't do that. That's the thing. You don't do that. I wouldn't knock on your door and be like, have you heard of the Church of Satan? So, Wiccans don't necessarily believe in Satan. I don't know where that came from. Anyway, I'm like, so I guess you could call me a Boutican. And I found that to be quite clever. So no, I think that religion is important if it's important to you. It's very important if it's important to you. And I was talking to somebody I love very deeply the other day, and her friend passed away. And she's really struggling, like it's really difficult. And she just looked at me, she goes, I am not doing okay. And I said, you should try therapy. Now, it wasn't my kuleana to tell her that. But we're very, very close. So I was like, bitch, you need therapy. And she looked at me and she goes, just one of these, and she goes, I'm my own therapist. And I was like, ooh, that's messy. And then the very next day she posted, and she's like, this big prayer, God help me, I need help, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yes, pray, but Sky Daddy is not going to help you with all of your issues. Go see somebody. God, please and thank you. So, we don't like that. It makes us, it's our culture. It makes you think that there's something wrong with you. If you had diabetes, you'd fucking go to the doctor. Like, go to the doctor, your brain isn't working right. Like, was that too much? I soapboxed that a little bit. I don't know, it's weird. Like, the more I'm on Twitter, the less I can hold my mouth. And it's not serving me very well. Because the other day I was in Target, and I got so pissed off that I out loud said, are you fucking kidding me right now? And this poor woman who was working there turned around, and she's like, oh, do you need help? And I wanted to be like, no, I'm just standing here with my thumb up my asshole because like, it's fun for me on a Saturday morning, you dumb cunt! And then I was like, Lord, please forgive me for my sins. Anybody listening? The devil's like, bitch. So yeah, anyway. Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to tell you. Oh, this is so dumb, but I have to share it because I've held on to it. It's like my little gem that I've held on to for so long. It's terrible. So back when, things were really bad with the police brutality and the Black Lives Matter, and I was like, who needs fucking here for me? Like, no one deserves to die right now. How do you need me? And so one of my friends, Stephen, who happens to be a black man, posted an article about really bad racism in China against black people. Like, these people were killed walking into a McDonald's because they were black. Now, this was not here, shockingly, but it was over in China. And he posted this, and one of my acquaintances, people that I know, posted fake news. And I was like, oh, Justine, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Enter. And I said, did you read the article? Or are you just making a joke? Or what are you doing here? I'm like, you just came on a black man's page, and he's upset, and he's hurting, and this is what you posted. Now, he private messaged me, and he was like, I just want you to know I reached out to Stephen, I apologized, I took my post down. I said, really proud of you. That was really, that was the thing to do, and that was really smart. I'm like, we don't know what that's like. Like, as a woman, I know that much of what it's like to live in fear every day. I'm careful when I walk out to my car. I'm bringing a mirror with me. I'll smack a bitch, like, I don't care. But I thought it was really good, and we kind of had this little exchange. And then he said, God, the Chinese are so racist. Do you live in a glass house? Like, what? And so I said to him, I go, Americans are racist. And this was his response, why do you hate middle-aged white men? And I thought, well, if you're